Man, make sure y'all like the video, comment, and subscribe if you want to, man. Come be a part of the tribe, you dig? And also turn on your post notifications so you know the next time I'm dropping something. Let's get into it.
Really have a right to be treated respectfully.
We are unfortunately running out of time, but Peter, I just want to get one final thought from you. Are there words that are used to describe men that offend you?
Not particularly, and if there are some I don't like, I certainly wouldn't want them banned. But it always goes back to that old adage: sticks and stones may break my bones, but there will always be something to offend a feminist.
Peter Lloyd.
No, that's just obnoxious.
Peter Lloyd,
sorry, you have to give me a chance. That is ridiculous. No, hang on, I won't do your show again.
That's hilarious. And it's like she doesn't even understand that she just played into what he was characterizing.
These arrogant females end up alone. The thing with arrogant females is they're also full of fear and insecurities. So they are arrogant, but arrogance isn't confidence. Arrogance comes from a place of fear, like a teenage boy walking around trying to look really tough. It's not actually from a place of strength. True strength is having the humility, walking around saying how good you are and how beautiful you are and how smart you are and how strong you are. It's from a place of insecurity, like you're trying to prove to people, you're trying to get their validation. It's very unattractive. So obvious that it comes from that place of fear and insecurity that you want to be accepted. It's so stupid.
She can't control how good she looks. It just rolls the dice and whatever comes out, comes out. And so because of that, it creates this anxiety inside of them that makes them believe that as long as they tell themselves they're beautiful, the world is going to believe it. There's a limit to how confident that you can be within yourself that eventually turns into arrogance, which then in turn turns into delusion.
You know, there's a saying that says men marry hoping the woman will never change, women marry hoping the man will change. And so a lot of women get with a man who has what she considers untapped potential, but sometimes potential is a figment of your imagination. And what you see is not what he has in him or he even wants for himself. And sometimes the desire to grow or want our partner to grow is really wanting them to be something they're not.
Yes.
And that's the reason why people fall apart, because they'll never fit that box that their partner dreamed of them fitting into. So we got to be honest about, is this even something I can walk into and grow into, or is just, this is who I am? Either we're on the same page or we're not, and maybe we got to move in a new direction.
If you approach it trying to add value into the relationship instead of trying to come and figure out what it is that you can get from it, then you ultimately are going to be on top. That's for men and women. I know that you're going to change as a person. I want to be a part of that. I'm not trying to get you to stay the same. I would never want the woman that I'm with to be the same person that I was with when I met them, because we all have to evolve and change. I just want to be a part of that, and I accept you for who you are. And I want to help guide that change into the right direction.
How do men pick who they manipulate, and how do you know when they're genuinely interested?
Oh, there's always a profile to a manipulator. I'll give you some common reasons how they can tell if you're easy to abuse, manipulate, or exploit. Number one is if you're codependent. Another one, if you have low self-esteem. If you discount the positives. That's another thing. If they compliment you and you minimize yourself. If you're a catastrophic thinker, whether you magnimize things or you minimize things. If you operate from a place of low self-worth. If you shy away from just general conversations, those are the things that they pay attention to. If you have trauma, that's another thing. And if you are vocal about your trauma, if you have trauma from previous relationships, if you have negative experiences in your childhood and you are vocal about that, they can see that. They can see that in the way you speak, in the way you behave, in the way you interact with people. That is the easiest way to identify if they can manipulate you. If there are certain qualities about yourself that you find low, if you have a lack of self-confidence or anything like that, they're going to take that weakness that you have and they're going to exploit that to use it against you. That's the way that they can tell if you're a person that they can manipulate.
The reason why I'm not going to take offense to that is because she's talking about a manipulating man. Now, are there a lot of men that manipulate? No. Women actually pride themselves on being smarter than men, especially when it comes to the art of manipulation.
All that shit is fatherlessness. You don't know what it feel like to be in the presence of a man that has some authority. How you gonna feel comfortable with this shit out in the world? This is why we end up struggling as young ladies trying to process and like feel comfortable around y'all. I feel like a nigga trying to control you. Feel like you're trying to tell me what to do. Feel like you're trying to use your money to do. It's a lot of shit we misperceive, or we take it the wrong way because we don't know what it feel like to have a daddy that say, this is the decision as a man, and ain't no woman coming and put her 2 cents on it, right? Then you only seeing how a woman solves and processes and run the household. This your programming. Now flip the same shit to a young boy. You 16, 17, fully grown in your build, but you only ever saw a woman run shit. You only ever saw your mama, decide how stuff gonna go in the household. And we nurture her. So a lot of times women don't even realize all that fussing, the way you handling your son, you fucking him up. And this is why it's a lot of niggas that they not gay. They heterosexual males. They are attracted to women, but they can't stand a fucking woman.
The perspective is that's the biggest thing. Because that gives you the frame of reference on how you perceive the world. And so a lot of us come from single mothers. So our frame of reference is from a single mother's perspective on how she deals with the world, how she interacts with the world. She doesn't interact with the world in a logical sense. So we don't have the ability to see either or and then determine which one works better for us. We only get to see the emotional response to the world. And so that's why we see so much violence in our community, because a lot of these young men are emoting like their mother because that's the frame of reference that they've always operated under.
I can't be a stepfather. That's not for me. I don't procreate with a woman that has a child. I'm not mixing genes or DNA. I could date a single mother though.
Okay, so look, what if you date a girl who doesn't have a kid? What if she wants a kid now? And you have four baby moms?
Eventually, as much as I say I don't want any more kids.
You want more kids?
I don't want. But when I'm in love, like deep, that's how
I mean, I don't disagree with him. I wouldn't do the single mom thing. It just doesn't work. Like, I'm not about to waste my resources on a child that's not mine.
Is there anything I could have done to save our relationship?
Keisha, I think you're a great person. I think you're a good person. And I appreciate the fact that you realized how closed off you were, but to answer your question, I think you could have saved the relationship by being more appreciative, putting more effort, the same way I did, and I kept stepping towards you, but you kept stepping back, and marriage was out the question because don't nobody want to marry anyone who not showing the same appreciation as them or who not giving their effort like them. So that just pushed me back, and as far as right now, I have a girlfriend, and I love her to death. And that's what I want to get you to see is that you got to appreciate the people that's in your life. The people that come in your life, you don't know how long they're going to be there. You got to appreciate them while they're there, because when they're gone and you don't appreciate them, they got every right to walk away from you. And that's what I wanted to get you to see. So I'm sorry if it hurt. I'm sorry if it hurt you, but I just hope you got the closure you was looking for.
He handled it right. She went out into the streets. You step one pinky toe out in them streets. Don't let the door hit you with a good love split you. Bam! Close, lock. Ain't no coming back. That's how you got to handle situations like that.
Do you think it's possible to be in a relationship and feel like your partner is daring you to cheat?
Absolutely. There are a lot of people in relationships who will purposely deprive their partner of whatever emotional need it is that they need. Absolutely. Because of selfish tendencies. That's the reason why when you come into relationships, you have to be selfless. Most people are so worried about their ego and what feels good to themselves that they don't understand how to collaborate with somebody else. Yep. They don't understand how to extend themselves to what other people actually need. So yeah, there are people who are like, you know what? I'm not going to reciprocate. I'm not going to show you appreciation. I'm not going to acknowledge you. I'm not going to make you feel heard or seen or anything like that, because since you decided to enter this relationship, that means that you agreed not to cheat. There are people who are selfish enough to do that.
But at that moment, and you know you're not fulfilled in that relationship, you have every opportunity to leave.
It's not always that easy.
It doesn't. Just because things aren't easy doesn't mean it's impossible to do.
Not saying it's not impossible.
So up the relationship even more, right, by stepping outside of it when you can either fix what you need to fix within that relationship or
Hold on, why can't the person that's checked out emotionally and checked out of the relationship with the actions leave? Because here you are, you're staying in this relationship and obviously you're unhappy, you're denying me sex, you're not being a productive member of this marriage. Why don't you leave? My point is, oftentimes, maybe not you, there are some people vindictive enough that will want you to leave because they don't want the burden or the blame from this. So now
Dang, that was a good one. That is so true. That happens a lot, man. That clip right there, that was a good one. That was definitely a good clip.
A lot of men are becoming lazy in dating because there's no appreciation for what they do. And now women have these super high entitlement level thoughts that they deserve to be brought to freaking Bora Bora on their first date. And it's like, who are you to even ask for that? What value have you brought to that man? It's the audacity. So be grateful that you got some food, and be grateful that a man put in enough effort to take you somewhere. And that's the problem. I would rather go for a walk in the park and drink a smoothie, to be honest.
The internet is going to comfort you heavily.
I think these girls that feel like the date that they take you on defines the man that they chose, they're full of crap. It's absolute BS. I think that it's a woman that's looking for the bigger, better deal, that has the audacity to say, I can't believe you want to bring me to the Cheesecake Factory. Heifer, you should be glad you're getting a meal. Because a lot of these dating scammers that literally go on a date every night just to be able to eat something, you're lucky you're eating tonight because you probably can't afford to do it yourself.
Man, it's real interesting to see someone, see women hold themselves accountable and talk about the foolishness and the buffoonery that's happening from their side and believe that they are entitled to a man's provision and all that he can give to her. It's bewildering.
Part of me still believes that black men get with white women because they're more docile.
I don't think that.
Society makes us
believe
white
sister-in-laws.
They don't want to deal with the black woman that's going to hold you accountable. It's going to tell you that you need to get your stuff together. The white woman's going to let you just not all people.
I don't agree. I think it's how they do it.
What do you mean?
I think inside of Caucasian culture,
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you've only ever come from and you're inside of 2-parent family households and you don't necessarily have to see the struggle, you actually get to see your parent because they're not working 3 jobs to keep the lights on and make sure that you can go to daycare and play in sports. And they're not as frustrated because they're not working 3 jobs to keep the lights on and make sure that you can play in sports. I think that when you understand what a lot of black people face, you would understand that there is a level of grit, but there's such a beautiful opportunity to appreciate that grit because we can get through anything. We live in a world where black women are conditioned to be strong. We are conditioned to be resilient, and it is encouraged for us to be tough rather than for us to be vulnerable. Whereas in other races, it is encouraged for them to be soft, for them to be open, for them to be vulnerable. And so we have to understand when we go back to what society has done to women, there might be a little more of a guard that you have to break down. So it really goes back to, are we bitter? No, bitter, mean, strong, whatever the word is. I don't think those are the right words. I think it's people that lack vocabulary to be able to say maybe a lot of black women are a lot more masculine. And I do believe that that is true. And that's not to weaponize the masculinity. It's just the truth. We as women, one of the most beautiful opportunities that we have is to choose a man that we trust. Because if you choose a man that you trust, you automatically come out of your masculine.
This is true.
Because it's innate for us to be in our feminine. I think one of the most beautiful measures of a man is to see his girl in her feminine. Her nervous system is regulated.
Yeah.
And it's because he makes her feel so safe, so secure, so respected. You don't even really see that. More people honestly want to have a warm body in the bed at night than they do want to have good treatment and respect.
Women are like gardens.
Yes.
Like you have
what you plant grows.
Right. Like the condition of your garden is the condition to how the man takes care of his garden.
What you plant grows.
Yeah, for sure.
You give us fruit and vegetables, we will grow that. You give us
we multiply everything.
We multiply it.
She was almost on the road, man. And then she veered off and lost track. First of all, she got away from the answer. White women are easier to deal with. It's just a fact of the matter. Now, the reason why most black men go for their own demographic is because we are visual first and we are more visually attracted to our women than we are to white women typically. But if we talk about the overall package of peace, a man will go down on looks or change races to obtain a level of peace that the beautiful black woman won't provide. And that's important to have. And another thing is that a lot of white women have seen the action of 2 people actually in a relationship or a marriage on a continuous basis. So they've absorbed the essence of a man through their father. Whereas in the black community, the double A's, we haven't been afforded that opportunity. Our fathers have been systematically removed from the home, which causes us to not understand the value of a man's presence. Man, make sure y'all like the video, comment, and subscribe if you want to, man. Come be a part of the tribe, you dig? And also turn on your post notifications so you know the next time I'm dropping something.